The Ronin Dojo Tanto is a plug-and-play Bitcoin node with a focus on robust hardware and individual privacy. Today we're going to take a look at full setup, linking your Samourai Wallet to it, running Whirlpool, and some other features therein. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
Before we get going, quick shout out to sponsors of the show, Shakepay.com. If you're buying Bitcoin in Canada, this is one of the easiest and quickest ways to do so. You can fund your account via e-transfer, no deposit or withdrawal fees, and a thin spread on top of that. If you use the link down below and sign up and purchase your first $100 worth of Bitcoin, they will give you $30 for free, and you get the same deal when you refer friends and family. You can also shake your phone every single day for free sats, and they have a sats-backed Visa card as well, so check them out. Up next, we have LEDN.io. You can use your Bitcoin for a bunch of different things. In particular, though, if you're in a pinch and you need to get your hands on dollars, but you don't want to sell Bitcoin because that's a taxable event, and maybe you're worried about having to buy back at a higher price, well, you can get a Bitcoin-backed loan by depositing Bitcoin and getting a loan of dollars to your bank account within 24 hours. When you pay back those dollars, you get back the same amount of Bitcoin. They also have savings accounts for Bitcoin and USDC, and they do have their B2X offering as well if you're feeling bullish. And keep an eye out, they are getting into Bitcoin-backed mortgages. So exciting things on the horizon for these guys. Up next, we have Bitrefill, one of the absolute godsends when it comes to living on Bitcoin. First off, you can buy any gift card your little heart desires in a ton of different countries with Bitcoin, both on-chain and via Lightning Network, and you earn sats back as you shop. You can also earn additional sats back with their referral program. But more importantly, if you're in the US, they have just begun rolling out their bill payments platform where you can pay effectively any biller with Bitcoin. So if you're in the US, start dabbling in that. But if you're elsewhere, then all of this gift card goodness is available to you as well. Kudos to Bitrefill on their bill payments rollout. And check them out in the links below. Keystone, one of my favorite and most used hardware wallets. It is 100% air gapped, meaning you never plug it into anything internet connected. It's all offline via QR code. That keeps the keys to your money safe and away from internet connections. Of course, upgrade this to the Bitcoin only firmware, very important. And then it works beautifully with things like Blue Wallet, Sparrow, Spectre. Also really great in a multi-sig. That QR scanning is just absolutely fantastic on mobile. So check them out, links down below. And I do have a full tutorial on the Keystone. And finally, if you're backing up any important Bitcoin wallet, be sure to check out the BillFodl over at privacypros.io. Well, it's because paper doesn't cut it. So you don't want to be subject to things like fire damage and water damage, or, you know, God forbid, accidentally discarding it because it's just a slip of paper. It's flitting around. Getting it in solid steel on the BillFodl gives you that peace of mind. This is how I back up my important Bitcoin wallets. So be sure to check them out in the links below. With that, let's dive into the tutorial. So as I was saying in the intro, this is a video on how to utilize the Ronin Dojo Tanto, which is entirely plug and play. However, if you are not looking to purchase one of these, you can also build your own. You can also run Samourai Wallet on your own without having a dojo, although there is some data leakage in doing so. So I highly recommend that you get your backend sorted if you're going to be using Samourai. Now, again, you can check out the Ronin Dojo Tanto at ronindojo.io, as well as them having instructions on how to build with your own hardware. In terms of this video in particular, I'm not going to be going too deeply into the inner workings of Samourai Wallet itself. This is more of a set up your Ronin Dojo, connect your Samourai Wallet to it, and kind of showing that your Whirlpool mixing is happening. And I'll explain that in a moment. If you want a deeper dive into how to use Samourai Wallet on its own, I do have a full tutorial on Samourai Wallet, and I will link that in the show notes down below. And if you want to dive into Paynyms, which I kind of briefly mention in this tutorial, I've got a full tutorial on how to utilize Paynyms via Samourai Wallet as well. So be sure to check those out. Both are down below. Now let's talk a little bit about what this thing does. Why would you want to utilize the Ronin Dojo Tanto? Well, there are a few reasons. Number one is your Tanto will be running a copy of the entire Bitcoin blockchain and the consensus rules that govern the Bitcoin network. And in doing so, you no longer have to trust someone else to do that for you. If you're not running your own node and you're not linking your wallets to your own node, then you're trusting somebody else to run a copy of the Bitcoin blockchain and in turn tell you which transactions are valid or even what Bitcoin is. And so with running your Tanto, you get to dictate that because you have downloaded the program and you're using it yourself. Secondly, you are linking your Samourai Wallet also to a Whirlpool backend. And this allows for a couple things. So Whirlpool is a tool that allows you to break the links between you and your Bitcoin. So it becomes difficult to decipher which Bitcoin you own, which is a very necessary privacy technique in Bitcoin, because if somebody knows you for sure own some Bitcoin, then as that gets spent through your stack, they can begin to decipher not only what you're spending your money on, but also how much Bitcoin you own. And that can be very dangerous, and you can be painting a target on your back. So having Whirlpool is an excellent tool. However, if you just run it from Samourai Wallet on your mobile device, then there can be some data leakage there between you and Samourai's servers. And also, every time you close the app, that Whirlpool mixing stops and waits for you to reopen the app. It can't run in the background. You can run some software on your computer and call back to that so that the mixing will be continuous in the background. However, then that home computer or laptop or whatever it may be needs to be continuously running as well with those programs open and minimized. So that's also not as ideal of a solution. However, if you're running Ronin Dojo Tanto, then that is a dedicated device that can be running and set up and linked into your router. And that is all done over Tor. It's private. It runs continuously in the background, and it keeps on mixing your coins, not just once, but over and over. And that's one of the features of Whirlpool. Once you enter a pool, it will continuously mix your coins until at which point you go to spend them. So effectively, you don't need to have programs open on your computer, open on your phone. It all gets run in the background. And when you open up your Samourai Wallet again, you can see that those mixes have been running regardless of what's been open on your computer and phone. So those are a couple of the main features. Another couple things you can do, you can obviously log in to your Ronin Dojo via mobile on Tor browser. You can also have access to there's an indexer that indexes your copy of the blockchain and basically creates a block explorer for you. So if you want to query about a particular transaction and see how many confirmations or any other details about that particular transaction, you can look that up. You can see it without having to go on your regular web browser and inquire there, because again, data leakage can happen there. Somebody could be watching and saying, oh, look, this IP address made a query about this transaction. Perhaps that person was involved in that transaction in some sense. And then people, again, can begin to paint pictures of what you own and what you're doing with your money. So it just kind of gives you a full solution on privacy. And again, the ethos of Bitcoin, don't trust, verify, because you're running Bitcoin yourself. All right, so I have my Ronin Dojo here. Pretty much this whole thing is plug and play. The only thing you're gonna need yourself is an Ethernet cable so you can plug into your router. You'll get your power supply. When you open up the box here, it looks like you've got little bumpers for the bottom of the device so it doesn't scratch any surfaces. This thing is sturdy as hell. Like it's pretty solid. You've got your Ethernet port in the back. You do have an HDMI port, although you'll just access this from your computer itself on a local network. And there's your power. So pretty much, again, pretty simple here, but power block goes into the back. This connects here, obviously into an outlet. Ethernet cable goes in the back. Other end of the Ethernet cable goes into to your router or your splitter if you've got one. Let's take a look at what that looks like. All right, so I cleared out some space on the shelf. It's sitting next to my Umbrel. They're going to be friends now. We've got the Ethernet cable plugged in the back, and that is going down to the mess that is my splitter, but it's plugged in there. And if we plug it into the wall, if all goes according to plan, we should have a functioning Ronin Dojo. Just wanted to also quickly point out that there will be a red light emanating from the bottom of your device when it's on and running. I didn't notice it at first because I hadn't put the little rubber feet on the bottom, so it was flush with the shelf here, but now I can see it. So it says in the instructions that it's best to wait about 10 minutes after plugging in your Ronin Dojo to your local network and your router before going to your browser and typing in ronindojo.local, and this will bump you to the initial setup page. Now, if this does not load for you, you can also try plugging in the IP address of the device itself, and you can search that up using something like Angry IP Scanner or any other programs that can scan all the devices in your local network. So what we're going to be doing here is your Ronin Dojo is being set up right now. There are several steps to complete. In order to access your Ronin Dojo, we need to back up the root password and set up a user password. So we're going to hit let's start. So this information here, which I have blacked out, is the root user credentials, which I can back them up and store them in a safe place. Once you have done so, just click I have backed up the root user credentials and hit continue. All right, at this point, you are going to set up your Ronin Dojo user password. This password will be used to access your Ronin Dojo via browser or if you SSH. And again, be sure to back it up properly. Make sure you remember what it is. And then it bumps you to the final stage here. It says, please wait while your Ronin Dojo is installing. And it's going to be basically downloading the entire Bitcoin blockchain. Now, mine was sitting there for some time before I went to the screen, so I can see that Bitcoin Core is totally synchronized here, and everything else we can now start to dive into. Quick correction here. You need to give it just a little bit more time. Once you download all of Bitcoin Core, it will actually then start compiling the data of all of the previous blocks so that it can then be categorized properly and then utilized in stuff like your indexer. But if you're unsure that it's actually working, just click over to logs and you will see that things are moving forward as they should be. And eventually you'll get the 100% synchronized message on both of those things. Now, once your Ronin Dojo is up and running, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to link it to your Samourai Wallet. This is designed to be a backend for a Samourai Wallet, both as a regular node, but also for Whirlpool to anonymize and break the links between you and your coins. So in order to do so, we'll go through the setup for Samourai as if you're doing a new wallet. But one thing that you'll need to access here on Ronin Dojo is if you just scroll down a little bit where it says Dojo and you hit manage, then this will bring up information to be scanned by your wallet as you're setting it up so that it can reference that node. Now, I'm not going to display these values right now. I will when I go to scan it with my phone, and I'll tell you at what point that is. But you can see here, this is all the information you'll need, in particular right under Samourai Dojo, in order to scan. Now, on my phone here, I have a fresh install of Samourai Wallet ready to go. And we'll just go through all the screens here. So we're going to hit get started. And then we're going to choose our backup directory where you're going to store a backup of your wallet. So I'm just going to hit choose. And we'll just save it to that folder. Now, would you like to enable Tor? We're going to turn that on. We're also going to connect to our Dojo service. And this is where we're going to be scanning that QR code that we had on our screen. So I will just switch the view here. So we have this QR code on the left-hand side. That's the one we're going to be scanning. So we're just going to hit scan QR here. We'll grant permission while using the app. Okay, so our camera's good. I'm going to display the values and scan this, and we'll be back once that's done. So upon scanning and hitting create new wallet, it's now time to add a passphrase. Again, this is something that you need to remember. Nobody can recover this for you. This is a passphrase. Any new passphrase will create a brand new wallet, totally separate from the seed phrase. So it's important that you remember this one. So I'll just input one right now. Make sure you check off. I understand that Samourai cannot provide assistance in case of lost or forgotten passphrases, so on and so forth. You get the drill. We'll hit next. Okay, now we're going to set a PIN code for the device between 5 and 8 characters and finish. All right, so this is going to now be your regular seed phrase backup. Okay, you're going to write it down. You're going to get 12 words, English readable words, and you're going to back them up just like any other Bitcoin wallet. After writing down and confirming your seed phrase, it will confirm your passphrase for you one last time. I've skipped over that, obviously, not to show my passphrase. And then you will be presented with a page to claim a Paynym. I've done a full video on Paynyms for both Samourai and for Sparrow Wallet. So if you want to go back and learn about them, then you can, I will link that in the show notes down below. For now, I am going to claim a Paynym. So I'll just hit claim and I'm going to hit yes. Great. And it shows my, my Paynym orange here and then some digits. That is my Paynym ID. I can share that with anybody and they will be able to connect with me and send me payments without having to publicly share a receiving Bitcoin address, which can be a privacy no-no if it's done in a public forum. So here we are, we're now set up with Samourai Wallet, and the back end to that, the blockchain, the entirety of the blockchain is now downloaded on my Ronin Dojo, and that's what my Samourai Wallet is referencing when confirming transactions. All right, so up next, we're going to be pairing our Samourai Wallet to Whirlpool and pairing that with our actual Ronin Dojo node. And so you're going to need a few things for this. So first thing, you're going to go to samouraiwallet.com/download. You're going to scroll down and you're going to download the Whirlpool GUI, which is just an app that you're going to run on your desktop for your operating system. I'm on a Mac, so I've already downloaded the one for Mac OS. Next, you're also going to need Tor browser. Okay, again, for your operating system, whatever that may be. Again, I'm on a Mac, so I downloaded the Tor browser. And this will just be allowing your app on your desktop to communicate with your Ronin Dojo through Tor. Okay, and then finally, you're going to need the IP address of your actual Ronin Dojo. And you can do that a couple different ways. The one with extra steps would be to download something like Angry IP Scanner and scan your local network and look for the IP address. But the easy version of that would just be going to ronindojo.local as we have accessed before, clicking on System Info on the left-hand side, and then scrolling down to the bottom. And here where it says Network Interface, right next to IPv4, there's going to be, and it's covered up with a sticky note, just so I don't share that information, there's going to be an IP address, which will look something like this, but with totally different numbers. And so you're just going to need that information underneath here, which you can copy and paste when we get to that part. But those are the prerequisites. You need to download the Whirlpool app for your desktop. You need Tor browser, and you need your IP address, which is located under System Info Network Interface IPv4. So you just need that info there. Once you have all that stuff downloaded, you're first going to open up Tor browser, and it's going to establish a Tor connection. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to do with this. Once it's connected, you can just minimize it and it will just be in the background. And that's just so you can establish that Tor connection. Up next, you're going to open up your Whirlpool GUI, and that will be here. And you're going to be setting up the advanced remote CLI, meaning it's referring to a remote device to do your mixes. So I'm going to hit advanced. And it's going to be asking us for some connection information. You're going to need to enter a CLI address, which we will find out where to find in a moment. And you're also going to click on use a Tor proxy. And you're going to be using this information right here, which you can literally just copy and paste and just put it in right there. Okay. And I'll specify we are using Tor browser. That's why we downloaded the browser. So that's how we're doing the connection. So you just put in that information as set out on the side here. So let's figure out where to find this CLI address. So I'm going to minimize this for a moment. And this is the part where I want you to stay with me, because this can be the most intimidating part for people, but I am going to tell you exactly how to, what to type and what to put in here. So you're going to be doing some command line interactions here. Command line can be accessed on your Mac via terminal, but if you're on Windows or if you are on Linux, there's different tools to access command line that should be already on your computer. So just do a quick Google and see which tool, based on if you're on Windows or Linux, Ubuntu, or something like that. It's basically going to be the exact same interface here. You're just going to be typing some stuff in here. So we're going to be using the terminal here to SSH into our Ronin Dojo node. Now, SSH stands for Secure Shell, which is just a way of two computers communicating securely. All right. And all we need to do here is we're going to type SSH. And then we're going to use some credentials that we had at the beginning when we were setting up our Ronin Dojo. So our username was Ronin Dojo just by default. So Ronin Dojo, and then the @ symbol, and then you're going to put your IP address of your device here. And if you recall from before, that was located in system info. Down at the bottom, IPv4, there's an IP address behind this. You just copy and paste that right into what you've typed here. Once I have my IP address there, which again I've just covered with a little sticky note, and I hit enter, it will now prompt me for a password. This is the same one that you set up when setting up your Ronin Dojo. So I'll just enter that now, and we'll be back in a moment. You will be prompted for your password one last time after that, and then when you enter it, you will be bumped to this page, and this is where we're going to find the information we need for our Whirlpool GUI, which was this right here. Okay. So to navigate through this, you're just going to use the arrows, and you're going to go all the way down to number 5, the Samourai Toolkit. You're then going to choose number 1, and then you're going to hit start. Now I'm going to go back down to number 6 and hit go back. Go back. All right. And at this point, we're going to go to credentials, number 3. And Whirlpool. This will finally bump you to a page where it tells you your Tor address, which again, I've covered up with a sticky note, but you can simply copy and paste the information under here, and you're going to paste it under CLI address and hit connect. If you do have trouble connecting, then you can always shut down both the Whirlpool GUI and Tor and restart them up again. Sometimes there are connection issues, but eventually it should work just fine. And when it does, you'll be bumped to this screen where it says it's connected to the Whirlpool CLI, and your onion address will be listed here. Again, I've covered mine with a sticky note. And then you need to get your pairing payload with Samourai Wallet and scan it or paste it here. So let's take a look at where to find this in Samourai Wallet on your mobile device. So here in Samourai Wallet, you're going to go up to the top right, the 3 dots. You're going to tap on Settings. You're going to Transactions. And then down at the bottom, you're going to tap Pair to Whirlpool GUI. This will present you with a QR code or a string of digits that you can copy and then paste or send to yourself via private messenger, whatever you need to do to get it into your screen and paste it into the Whirlpool GUI on your desktop. So here on desktop, I'm just going to actually tap on the QR code over to the right-hand side here, and this will open up my webcam. I can scan the QR code on my phone using my webcam, and this will paste all of the necessary information in here. Up next, you will see a screen that should give you a couple green check marks connected to Whirlpool CLI and pairing with Samourai Wallet. You will have turned on Use Dojo as the wallet backend, and Tor is required for Dojo. At this point, you can hit the button Initialize GUI. After a quick loading screen, you will then be prompted for your wallet passphrase, which you can set or which you already set via Samourai Wallet. So just put in the same one here. You have now successfully paired your Samourai Wallet with your Dojo as a backend for its copy of the blockchain, as well as your Whirlpool to be able to mix on the go without having to keep open your wallet on your computer or on your phone. So everything you have done to this point is to build a backend for this, your Samourai Wallet on your mobile device. So let's again take a quick moment to kind of review this. I have done a full tutorial on utilizing Samourai Wallet, doing Whirlpool, all of that, but let's just kind of go through quickly, get a review of what's in front of us. So you're going to have your balance right here in the middle. You can tap to switch between Bitcoin and Sats. Down below here will be any previous transactions. The little plus sign down at the bottom right hand corner gives you a number of options like getting to your Whirlpool, your Paynyms, and just basic sends and receives. Up in the top, you have, again, you can toggle, let's go over to the left here. You can toggle between your basic wallet and between Whirlpool by hitting the little samurai in the top left. And over in the right hand corner, there's three things. You have your connections, and it shows that I've got my data connection enabled, I have Tor enabled, and my Dojo full node is also enabled, which is what we just set up. Outside of that, you've got your scan button for scanning QR codes, really basic. And the top three dots here, you've got all of your different settings, sweeping private keys, export wallet backups, showing your UTXOs, spending from your Postmix and Whirlpool, Cahoots, support, settings, all of that stuff. So that is kind of your layout here. So really quick, let's just go through the process of receiving a transaction into the wallet and then running it through the Whirlpool, which is now connected to our back end. So really quick, plus button at the bottom, hit receive. Here's your receiving address. I'm going to send some Bitcoin to that off screen, and we'll be right back when it is confirmed. Keep in mind that after receiving Bitcoin to your Samourai Wallet, you will need to wait for a blockchain confirmation before you can move things into Whirlpool and start mixing. So we can see that under pending here. Once we get a confirmation, that will be moved, or that pending notification will be removed, and we'll be able to move into the Whirlpool. So just really quick, after receiving confirmation, just to show that all this stuff is connected, I can see that here in the Whirlpool GUI on my desktop, that the UTXO that I deposited is now reflecting here. And again, this is being managed by my Ronin Dojo. So I now no longer need to have this open on my desktop, nor do I need to have Tor open. Nothing needs to be running unless I want to actively look at this GUI here. I can just do everything from my phone, which we'll now jump to. Again, here we are on my mobile device, which is all connected to the Ronin Dojo, and we can now start mixing with the Bitcoin that has been deposited. So I put in 1.1 million sats, or 0.011 Bitcoin. And so in order to do that, just in the bottom right, I'm going to hit the plus sign. I'm going to hit Whirlpool. When you first go into this, it'll give a quick explanation of what Whirlpool is, but we can just hit get started, and we're going to select the one UTXO that we've deposited. And at this point, I can hit next. I'm going to choose my transaction fee. So I'm just going to put high because I'd rather have this go quickly for a tutorial. And then you have your pools. So based on how much Bitcoin is sitting in your wallet will depend on what pools you're eligible for. So I can see the 0.1 or I can go into the 0.001, which is 100,000 sats. And it shows me what the fee is to enter that pool. I'm actually going to do I'm going to go ahead and join the 100,000 sat pool. And so that should give me, I believe, 10 UTXOs and some change, because there's obviously a fee to utilize Whirlpool. So I'm going to select that pool. I'm going to review the cycle details. It's going to say, hey, yep, you're going to get 10 UTXOs. You're going to get, the pool fee is 5,000 sats. The premix fee is right there. The minor fee, unmixed change, we'll get back. Amount to Whirlpool will be 1 million sats. So all of our fees total across everything there, and then the total that you're sending out. Okay, so if that looks good to you, you can hit begin cycle. The docs exchange will be tagged, and if you want to block it to make it unspendable, you can. You just want to make sure that you're not spending your mixes in tandem with something that's unmixed. So some of you may want to block it, and then you can manually reverse that later. Otherwise, you can hit no if you're especially careful. I'll be careful in this instance, so I'm going to hit no. And so this is now going to broadcast a transaction, and my Ronin Dojo will take care of the mixing on the back end for me. So now we can see that there's a zero balance here, but if we go into mixing, we can see that these will be coins that are currently waiting to complete the first round of Whirlpool. And remixing will be coins that are being mixed again, because until you move them, you will continuously enter new mixes in the Whirlpool with other people fronting the transaction fees to make that possible. All right, so we'll come back when we see some movement on this. But again, we don't need to do anything on our computer. And just to kind of show, again, if you still have it open, we can now see all of the individual UTXOs that are in the queue to start mixing. And once they are mixed, we'll be able to see them reflected in the balances on the phone. And just one more note, if you actually swipe down to refresh or go out of this screen and come back to your Whirlpool and go to mixing, it will reflect again all of those UTXOs we saw on the computer, on the GUI there. Those will be reflected in the mixing screen here, the middle tab. And then once they are done mixing for the first time, they will be under remixing. So we'll see that momentarily. Some more updates as things progress. You can see anything that's in the process of mixing will be showing on your phone as a progress bar. And I can see that a couple UTXOs have already been mixed and thus are then in line to be remixed again. And on the computer, we see much of the same picture. We see a few that have now been mixed. This was just a few seconds ago, and we see the ones that are currently mixing. Now, it may take time. There may be discrepancies between what's happening on the computer and what's happening on the phone, just because of, you know, how frequently you refresh on your phone versus on the computer. But just know that everything is happening in the background. And our final update here, every single UTXO has gone through a single mix. And to show how that's reflected in the phone, here we see our balance in our Whirlpool. So this is the same screen that we went to before. These are all the previous transactions where it says transactions on that tab of all of the mixes that went out, including our initial deposit into the Whirlpool, excluding any fees and excluding any change that could not be mixed. Now, the mixing screen, it says your coins have been mixed. All of them are now through a mix. And if we go to remixing, we can see all of those UTXOs, again, waiting for confirmations. And it says one mix complete on each of them. And those numbers will continue to go up over time. And we can close this. We can do whatever we want on the computer. And this will continue to mix whatever we want on the phone as well. This will continue to mix until we spend those coins. Now, if we go back to the main screen, we can see the change, after all of the fees that is left behind. We had the option to lock that amount, but it is just a normal amount that's spendable now. If we want to toggle between the change and our regular amount versus the Whirlpool, we just tap the little samurai in the top left corner, and we're here in our Whirlpool mixed coins. Okay, and at this point from here, if you want to spend, you can send, and then you can actually go ahead and choose your unspent or your UTXO. So you can show, and you can actually choose to spend a particular one, or you can just send using the regular send tool from Whirlpool, and it will utilize the most private way of doing that send. There are also a few other tools that you can utilize with your Ronin Dojo. From the drop down with the maintenance menu over on the left here, you have the XPub tool, transaction tool, address tool, and then you can rescan all of your blocks. But basically the XPub tool, you can put in an XPub and if it's see if it's tracked by your dojo, but also you can import an XPub and rescan the full history of all the transactions that have gone through that. You can also import or display information about a particular transaction, or you can display information about a particular address. So just again, as a quick example of how this works, I can paste in an address here. I can hit check, and it will show me, first of all, if this is tracked by my dojo, it will bring up this information. I'm not super worried about this because I'm going to be swapping out my UTXOs and everything afterwards, and I've just done it in a tutorial. But basically it gives you the general info, number of UTXOs, number of transactions on that address. It can show you any unspent UTXOs there, most recent transactions, all of that. And then you can click here to open a new tab and show it on the OXT Explorer as well. If it is not being tracked by your dojo currently, it will ask if you want to import it, and then again it will give you all of this information about it. If you want to check another, you just hit that button. Outside of that, the one other notable thing I will show you is you can push a transaction. So if you have an already signed Bitcoin transaction in hex format that has not been broadcast yet to the network, you can paste it in here and you can send the transaction and it will push that for you. Yeah, those are just a few of the other tools that you can enjoy with your Ronin Dojo. Now, the last couple things I want to let you know are, one, how to access your Ronin Dojo on the fly from your mobile device. Number one, you're going to need to download Tor browser for your mobile device. You can get that just on the App Store, really simple. And to get the URL to direct you there, just within your ronindojo.local on your home browser, you head over to the little segment that says Ronin Dojo, and down at the bottom, you're going to hit the Manage button. What this will do, I'm not going to do it right now, but that Manage button right here, it will open up two things. It'll show you a QR code that you could just scan with your phone and it'll direct you to the correct URL, or there will be an actual URL that you can copy and paste into whatever browser you like, or send it to yourself via Messenger, anything like that. When you open it up within Tor, it'll just ask you for your login password that you set up with Ronin Dojo initially. Okay, so you just put in that password and then you will see exactly this. You'll see all of the stats. You'll be able to access all of the settings, everything for your dojo on the fly, on the go, not at home, not on the same network. Now, up next, what about accessing your block explorer? Because near the beginning of this video, I talked about how your indexer, what it's doing, and I'll just get rid of me in this video here. Okay, there you go. Now you can see it. Your indexer here down at the bottom right, what that does is it takes your copy of the Bitcoin blockchain, indexes it all so you can easily query particular transactions, blocks, fees, all the interactions, particular addresses, anything that you want to look up, you can look up and sort through your own copy of the blockchain easily. So how do you actually access this? Well, here under the Dojo segment, what you're going to do is scroll down again, go to the bottom, and you're actually going to tap on Manage. This is the same screen that we used to connect our Samourai Wallet to our Dojo, but now we're going to be utilizing this info here under Bitcoin RPC Explorer. I'm not going to display the values here, but effectively what you would be using is you would again have Tor browser on your computer, or your mobile, whatever you want to access it from. You would copy the URL that is here and you would paste it into your browser and go to it. And then you will be prompted for a username and a password. Now you leave the username blank, but you copy the password from here, the one that is designated under here. And again, you paste that and open it up and you should have your Explorer. It will look like this. This is my own Explorer. All of the information here is from my own individual copy of the Bitcoin blockchain, and I can look up any block, any transaction, whatever I prefer, and I can do that without leaking the data of what I'm searching for to a trusted third party. So that is kind of the bonus of also having your Tanto, is being able to look up anything you want, see fees, see node details, all of that kind of stuff. It's all right here for you, and you can search anything that you like just through the search function up top. And you can see here, if you drop down from the tools button, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can go through. Node details, browse through blocks, mempool summary, mining template, browse the mempool, all kinds of different analysis stuff, technical, all of that. You can check it out all right here from your own Bitcoin Explorer. In the end, what type of Bitcoin node you run will depend on what your personal goals are. If you lean towards having a more robust piece of hardware infrastructure in your home, as well as a distinct leaning towards personal privacy, then the Tanto may be right up your alley. However, if you're looking for things like running your own Lightning node, you may find yourself either needing to lean towards another option or running something else in tandem with your Ronin Dojo. Either way, this is a solid entry for those looking to go down the personal Bitcoin plug and play option with a huge impetus on privacy. So hats off to the guys at Ronin Dojo. And of course, things will continue to be updated as time goes on, and more applications and use cases of the Ronin Dojo Tanto will continue to be added. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, please do hit like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below about what you thought about the Ronin Dojo Tanto. You can also, to help out the show, you can check out the previously mentioned sponsors in the show notes: Shakepay, LEDN, Bitrefill, Keystone, BillFodl. They're all down there. And if you really liked what you saw, you can always drop me a Bitcoin tip at my Strike page. That is strike.me/BTC sessions. When you get there, you can type in any amount you like, hit the tip button. You'll be greeted first with a Lightning invoice, but if you prefer, tap the arrow to the right and you'll see a regular Bitcoin QR code. With that, I am out. Have yourselves a wonderful day or evening, wherever you may be. See you guys next time for your daily session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.